Hello there, welcome. And we start with a live look. Well, that's actually south in the hills. We have some clouds and some low-level clouds too, a little bit of areas of fog. But at least we are mainly dry for some of the day for much of our area. And welcome to Beyond the Forecast. Storm Team 2, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Stenotis.
And I'm Lauren Maroney.
And hi. It is quieter today. I mean, we're still dealing with some, levels of creeks increasing and some rain showers south, but compared to yesterday, I mean, when we had large hail, some wind damage, flood issues from all that severe active weather yesterday, today is overall quieter.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the next couple of days, when you look at the 7-day, you see a lot of rain icons, but it's pretty minimal. It is nothing compared to what we had yesterday.
Not all that torrential, flooding downpours.
Absolutely not. I mean, just a few spotty showers. I think the next couple of days are actually going to be pretty nice. A
lot of dry slots.
A lot of dry slots, mild temperatures. I know you're going to get to that, but I'm kind of looking forward to the milder temperatures.
I mean, really warm, more than 20 degrees above average.
Yeah.
I mean, in some cases, nicely in those 70s.
Above average, and we're looking ahead to Easter. It's the holiday weekend. People are getting on spring break. Those are the temperatures you want to see, but maybe they won't last super long.
I know. You actually I'm going to be talking more about that for next week, but yeah, I mean, I think the first part of spring break is going to be a little cooler before we increase again. But I mean, we even could approach near record daily highs potentially for late week and into at least the first part of this upcoming weekend. I'll have more on that coming up. We do have some good weather to look forward to. Right now, though, at least the worst of it's over in terms of all that active weather yesterday. We do have just some of these scattered rain showers moving into portions of Chautauqua County, northern Pennsylvania, mostly just some light rain, maybe some just brief pockets of moderate rainfall. I do want to note, though, we are continuing some flood issues in some localized spots, and we do have that flood watch continuing for all of western New York until this evening, 8 p.m., as we're still seeing the water levels receding, and in some cases, still some of these creeks rising. So that's the localized areas here under that flood warning. You can see highlighted in bright green here. In some cases, some of these creeks flood warning until Saturday. So zooming in, we can take you through it here. So flood warning continuing for Ellicott Creek at Williamsville. So that's for the day, Thursday morning through Thursday evening for Ellicott Creek at Williamsville. It's expected that creek level to rise above flood stage briefly. Mainly minor flooding, possible localized areas, and that's what we're going to mostly be dealing with a couple of these creeks, including the Tonawanda Creek as well. Flood warning there at Rapids Thursday morning until Saturday morning. And also you can see Tonawanda Creek at Batavia as well, flood warning until Thursday late morning. So we'll continue to track these levels, bring you updates, and also plenty of details on our website, WGRZ.com. Right now, we do have some of that moisture, a batch of rain off to the southwest. We're going to see this moving in for our area for today. First starting areas south and then finally making its way into even northern zone Buffalo Metro probably later on this evening. That's kind of the timing right now, but just be ready still. Keep your rain gear handy, but not those heavy downpours, just more nuisance activity. So right now we are zooming in here. We can see some of these rain showers moving into Chautauqua County, Clymer, Harmony, Sherman, some light rain right now into Sugar Grove. We'll see a little batch of some moderate rain moving into Clymer in the next 20 minutes. It looks like we have some light rain from Bradford into Lafayette, Kane, also Norwich and Austin, and as you see into Abbott and just south for southern Potter County, mainly light rain. Temperatures right now, we are cooler compared to yesterday, but we're still at least going to increase closer to that average. But right now we are in those 30s, mid to upper 30s across the board. 37 for Buffalo, Niagara Falls, 39 for Angola and Warsaw. Lake Erie water temperature still at 32. I want to note, though, Lake Ontario bumped up. We're now at 40 for the Lake Ontario water temperature. Current winds, we do have that cooler flow from the north, as you can see, but at least these winds, sustained winds, are under 15 miles per hour, so that's good. We have some clouds in place for today for the most part. Mainly dry for much of western New York. We'll see some of these mainly nuisance rain showers coming through at times. For our northern zone Buffalo, it looks like a mainly dry day. Could see some rain arriving. Looks like probably later evening, sometime in the evening. So temperatures, highs, at least we'll get into those 40s for the high temperatures, at least for later on today and this afternoon. There's future look showing most of the rain showers kind of staying south for the day. Some scattered, more nuisance rainfall across the southern tier and northern Pennsylvania. Brief moderate at times. And then as we head into later on in the day, at least especially later evening, briefly touching north as well. Some rain showers and then a dry start to your Thursday. And then we have another batch of rain coming through, mainly light to moderate for later on in the day and into the evening. Then that clears out. And then you can just see Friday, just a few more rounds of some mainly nuisance, scattered light to maybe briefly moderate rain showers. So that's going to kind of just be on and off into the weekend as well. Temperature wise, we'll have those 40s for today for those highs, lows in those 30s tonight and to start your day off for tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, the warmth comes in once again. We'll be nicely in those 60s, area wide, very comfortable, just a little cooler right near the lake shores, that's all. And we have those temperatures Friday well into, well, it looks like the 70s. I mean, probably some low 70s. And then Saturday as well, as we'll have temperatures well above the average. I mean, by 20, even 25 degrees for Friday and especially Saturday. We do cool things off a bit for Easter Sunday and into at least the first half of next week, but we'll still be in those 40s and at least near to right around average. So shower chances, we'll continue to have that pretty much every single day. Not a washout though. Rounds of rain, mainly scattered light to moderate, and plenty of dry time too into the weekend. And then we do get probably a few days early next week of at least dry times. I want to show you humidity levels. Yeah, we're bringing this map back. 'Tis the season, especially for a late week and into the first part of the weekend. We're going to feel a little muggy out there. It is going to feel like, hey, we have summer approaching. And as we look, I wanted to show you this wide shot because we're just going to have just the rounds of moisture coming through, areas of low pressure, but nothing too active. Just some rounds of rain showers. And you can see that'll continue the rest of the week into this weekend, but plenty of dry time as well. We'll continue to track some of these just rain showers. And you can see rain amounts don't look too impressive this even for the next couple days, probably an inch or less. Okay, so the rest of the day today, we'll have just those clouds and rain showers. This basically south, but we could arrive later today, but especially for later evening for our northern zones, just briefly widespread to finish off the day and especially evening. And then we'll have plenty of dry time too, high temperatures in the 40s, lows in the 30s. And we have temperatures, you can see, even though it will be cooler for tonight in those 30s, will still be a few degrees above average. So in the 30s to start your Thursday off, and dry start to the day on Thursday with those high temperatures nicely in those 60s. Maybe an isolated thunderstorm as we head into later Thursday into Thursday evening, mainly south. Otherwise, just these rounds of rain and plenty of dry slots too for Friday into Saturday for the Easter weekend. That warmth, I mean, Friday and Saturday nicely mid to low 70s, low temperatures, nicely in those 40s to near 50. And then basically our lows will become our highs on Easter Sunday, highs near 50, lows back down in the 30s for Sunday night with maybe some on and off showers. But I think later on in the day, we'll probably be drying things up. At least that's how it's looking. And then we are dry for the first half of next week's spring break with even some sunshine in there. We do cool off though, probably in those 40s for several days. And then we'll watch some rain chances with warmth returning later next week. So that's some good news. So just wanted to tell you about what we've been doing with some scattered rain showers arriving even Buffalo Metro. Looks like later evening will be cooler for tonight. Tomorrow we have a dry start and cool start, but then we are warmer for those afternoon highs, nicely in those 60s. We'll have some scattered rain showers later on in the day tomorrow. And then just for the rest of the weekend into the weekend, some scattered rain showers at times. And we are warming things up, especially for Friday and Saturday. So the spring weather is here and even summer-like. There's a picture of my dandelions, or no, daffodils. Those are daffodils. And they are already, the buds on them, I think they might hopefully open up in the next couple weeks. And Lake Erie ice cover, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much almost gone. I mean, it's like 2% ice cover, and it is kind of smushed, as it usually is, on the complete eastern end right near Buffalo. So that's why downtown is feeling a little cooler, especially when you get the winds flowing off the lake. But now we have that cooler flow from the north, so still cooler. But you can see ice cover, whoo, it has dropped quite a bit. And so we're gonna probably get rid of the rest of this ice as we head into the next week, and especially over the next few days. We're going to continue to chew away at it with those temperatures well into those 70s, Friday and Saturday especially. So probably goodbye to that Lake Erie ice. We are going to be warming things up. Cool air will be well to the north, and we are looking at that warmth continuing. We will cool off briefly early next week, but then we are warming things up once again, especially for later on next week. So Easter weekend forecast, Saturday overall looks good. There'll be plenty of dry slots in there for any of those egg hunts and outdoor activities. We do have those temperatures increasing. I mean, warm to start the day off near 50, and then highs in those low 70s for Saturday. Easter Sunday, we'll probably have some of these on and off showers early and maybe drying things up by nightfall. But continue to check in for updates as we get closer to the weekend. As you know, that timing does change this far out still with some of those rain showers and the timing of that. But overall, we'll have dry slots in there over the Easter weekend. And for all of those Easter activities and festivities, temperatures will be cooler. So just note it looks much warmer on Saturday, cooler on Sunday, but still pretty nice. Those temperatures, highs around 50, some low 50s as you head into the afternoon. Then Dingus Day, Monday, the day after Easter, will be cooler, highs in the 40s, even start the day off in the 30s, but looks like it'll be dry with sunshine for that Dingus Day parade that Monday after Easter. So looking good. And then your spring break outlook for next week, it is looking pretty good overall. We're just going to start out cooler in the 40s and some 50s, and then we'll be increasing probably some 60s near 70 by late week into that following weekend. So temperatures will be trending upward. We do have some rain chances, potentially mid to late week, but obviously we're many days out. But I just want to kind of give you a sneak peek at what we're kind of looking at so far. Looks all right. So we're going to continue to warm things up, even though we dip briefly with temperatures. We are warming up. That trend continues, and especially later this week. Ooh, cannot wait for those 70s, and then probably later next week as well. So I just like to, plan ahead. I know a lot of kids are going to be off, so it looks like there's will be plenty of days that are going to be dry. Even if it's cooler, there'll still be plenty of time to be outdoors, riding those bikes.
I know, it seems like a shame that the worst day weather-wise, like we have the cool temperatures and the rain, is Easter itself.
But still, though, at least we'll be around average with our highs.
It will be around average. It's not too bad. And I do think the later portion of the day will be drier. So like if you have a late Easter brunch, you may have some pretty dry skies.
Yeah, go for a nice walk. Yeah, there'll still be plenty of dry time over the holiday weekend.
There you go. All right, so we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'm going to take a look at what April typically holds, with today being April 1st, after I wrap up what our March looked like.
Oh, happy April. Welcome back. Lauren, I love April. Happy April 1st.
Happy April 1st to you too. I tend to like April too. I feel like that's the true start of spring. March can really be quite a mixed bag, and I think people like to hate on March a lot. I'm going to try to defend March a little bit, especially this March. I think people, no matter what we get out of March, they're probably going to complain about it. Either it's too cold, or it's too warm and their allergies are acting up, or it's too warm but it's rainy so they can't enjoy the warmth. And our March specifically, it was pretty warm. 19 days above average, 11 days below average, but those days below average weren't too far below average. Averages in March are typically in the 30s to then the low to mid 40s. And we weren't that chilly. We did have a couple chilly days, but then we had a lot of mild days. Several days with highs in the 60s. We even hit 70 at least early on in the month. So it was a pretty mild month. Sometimes years when we get those mild Marches, then maybe you have a cooler April. So not that it's an indicator of anything, but just something to always keep in mind. And because it was so mild, we were pretty scarce when it came to that snowfall. We only had 5 days with measurable snowfall. The monthly snowfall was about 4.5 inches. What we average for March is about 14 inches. So we were about 10 inches below what the average is, but that does not mean we were lacking in precipitation. If you were out at any point yesterday, I'm sure you realize that just yesterday alone, we got about 1.33 inches of rainfall. That's about half of what we would get for the entire month, but this month was very, very, very wet. 6.33 inches. Again, that average is at 2.89, so much higher than what we normally get. Several days had over an inch worth of rain. I mean, another one, 0.87. It was a very damp month. That's why those grounds are so saturated. That's why we are tracking those rising creek levels, because it's pretty wet out there. And so technically, we had the wettest month for records at the Buffalo airport. I say that because if you were watching Patrick earlier this morning, he said we were the second wettest March in recorded history. So the way that the records work, there are the airport records that started around 1939, but then that's that specific site. But then for the Buffalo area in general, there have been records back to the 1800s. So there was one March in Buffalo in general that was wetter than this. You got about 7 inches worth of rain, but it wasn't at this specific site. And I like, for consistency, to look at just the one location because rainfall can be so sporadic and localized. So I'm calling it the warmest in at least about 85, 90 years, because those records do go back to the 30s. Now let's look at what we can tend to expect out of April, what the extremes are. So the coldest April, this is an average of the average temperature of each day, was in 1943, averaged 37.7. The warmest was in 2010, where we averaged 51.1. The snowiest, 1975, where we got 15 inches of snow. And the wettest was in 2017, where we got 6.38 inches. So not too far off from how much rain we got out of this March. So, it was a wet one. Now, just kind of because looking at averages of averages, what does that really mean? So the coldest we were just for a single overnight low temperature was in 1982 and also in 1954, where we hit 12. And then the warmest we ever were was in 1990 with 94. And not only is this the April record for the warmest we've been, it's actually the spring record. We have hit 90s in May, but the warmest we've ever been in May was actually 93. So 94 is actually our spring record. So April can bring the warmth. It can bring kind of a lot. It is also when we typically see our last measurable snow. The average is April 14th. Last year we hit that at April 16th. But there have been years where we have continued to see snow through May. That was in 1945. There have been a couple other years where we've gotten some measurable snow in May. But typically the rainfall, or not the rainfall, the snowfall in April isn't too bad. There have been 3 years where we did get over a foot. That was 1975, the record holder, 1961, and 1957, where we had 15 inches, 13.1, and 12 inches. These are pretty much outlier dates. April doesn't tend to bring too much snow. The vast majority of the dates that I looked at didn't have, the vast majority of years that I looked at didn't have more than 5 inches, and that's over the course of the entire month. And there have been months where we have had no measurable snow. This is not to say that there weren't snowflakes flying. Each of these years, all 9 of them, did have a trace of snow, so we've never had a year where we've had absolutely 0 snowflakes observed at the Buffalo airport, but these have been 9 years where we did not get anything measurable. So that's kind of the trace versus measurable, because we have to measure at least 1/10 of an inch with that snowfall. Now, as we head through April, that sun angle is increasing. So we had the vernal equinox. That is when our sun angle, that was in late March. So today, our sun angle is at about 52 degrees, and by the end of the month, it's actually going to have gained 10 degrees. We're continuing to see that more direct sun angle. The more direct that sun angle is, the less atmosphere it has to travel through, so we can warm up quicker. So we're not looking at as sustained cold because the ground is just staying warmer and we are warmer in general. So that sun angle is continuing to rise as we head through the month, and that is also going to allow those temperatures to rise. I love my spring increase graphic. This is just April. So today the average temperature is 48 degrees. By the time we end the month, average temperatures are in the 60s, 62 by April 1st. So that is going to feel pretty nice by the time we get there. And in terms of what we can expect with average precipitation, March we just ended 2.89 inches. April does tend to be a wetter month. I don't think it's going to be quite as wet as this specific March was, because that was a record holder. But April can still bring a good amount of rainfall. It's one of our wetter months generally. So we're taking a look at that. And then what is the outlook for April. So the Climate Prediction Center likes to send out temperature and precipitation predictions. In terms of temperatures, it looks like we're going to be about average. So we're going to be ranging, from those upper 40s early on to then those low 60s. And in terms of precipitation, we do look like we have a decent probability of seeing some above average precipitation for the month. And of course, I just love to remind you, it is April, and April is when our tree pollen here in Buffalo does tend to peak. So kind of good news, we're going to see that above average precipitation, so we should get those days where that precipitation does help to wipe out that pollen. But with increased precipitation and some of those milder days, that is just going to fuel the growth of those trees, which will end up then producing more pollen. So, I mean, no matter however you slice it, April is a pretty tough month for anyone who suffers from allergies, specifically those tree allergies. I already had to start my allergy meds. I was kind of suffering last week, but I started my allergy meds, doing a lot better. I can breathe out of my nose again, and that's been great.
I think the last few weeks, I've been clearing my throat a lot. I think I need to look at some of the allergy stuff, because I definitely feel like I have allergies.
Definitely tough.
Okay, so a few things that I just wanted to elaborate on because we were talking about. So definitely sunscreen season starts right now. Because April, I always like to do April, May, June, so July, August. So April is equivalent to August in terms of the sun angle. So just note that, like pretty much the next 4 months is the highest with the sun. And then on average, 0 snow in May. I know sometimes we can get a few flakes, but we're almost there, guys. We'll be back after the break. Lauren, you got something going on about space right now. You're going to take it away from me.
Yeah, so this evening there's going to be the Artemis 2 launch, which is very exciting. I kind of tried to map out the path that they're doing for it. They go around, they're going to orbit the Earth, and then they're going to slingshot around the moon, and then land back in the ocean. So I just wanted to take a quick look at what that's going to be. So obviously, we're taking a look at Florida because that is where they are going to be launching from, specifically Cape Canaveral. So we are tracking a little bit of precipitation right now, which you do not want any precipitation. You don't want any particularly gusty winds. Some clouds are not ideal conditions either, and you definitely don't want any lightning within 10 nautical miles of the area. However, if we look at what that forecast is going to be, again, launch time is going to be around 6:30. Oh, God, sorry, I'm getting so jealous of their temperatures. But it looks like they're going to have a good amount of sunshine, not tracking any rain. So things are going to be good for the launch. I believe we're also going to be streaming that, if I want to plug, on WGRZ+ for that launch. So things are looking good, and that's pretty exciting to me.
Yes, hopefully it's a great launch. And Kev and Patrick will be back here 12:30 on Thursday. Have a great day.